take one of your plugins that's out, maybe like Gorilla Drive, right?
Yeah.
What was the process like getting that to market from the audio standpoint? Like how many iterations of the plugin did you go through?
I think I'm still learning the process, to be honest, and I'm trying to improve it.
Yeah.
In general, I will say that I did get to a point right now that I feel like is kind of a sweet spot in terms of the way it works. And basically what I like doing is starting from the end and not from the beginning.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is I'll usually sketch out the GUI myself before having anything.
Okay.
So I'll just like paint a picture and try and kind of decide where I want the knobs and what I want them to look like, and kind of match whatever I have in my head to a picture. And I think that really helps my process, because once you do that, you realize like, oh, there's not enough space for like a blend knob. Maybe I should make, the knob smaller, but then I want it to look a certain way,
Yeah.
And by the end of it, you kind of have like a visual representation of something that you want. And what I like doing after that is I actually show it around. I showed it around to like a bunch of people and try to explain them what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I look at people's faces when I do it, and like just friends, and other engineers and stuff. And I want to see they understand, the concept of the plugin before it even lands on a actual audio file.
Right. That's
kind of the beginning. And I will say that like the Gorilla Drive was the first one I did, and I didn't do that on the first one. And I kind of learned as I went along, but some of them did have some major changes done to them following, what people said. Because a lot of times, like, you have something in your head, you're like, oh yeah, of course this tone knob is going to react this way. But then when you ask somebody else, he's like, what does a tone knob do? And you're like, oh, yeah, it doesn't say. So maybe I should label it some way. So a good example for that is like, I'm going to release next month. I don't know when people are going to listen to this, but in late October, early November, there's going to be a compressor coming out. And I have a knob there called Speed. And it's a long thing, but I won't get into it right now. But the whole idea is to link the attack and release in certain ways that fit the ratio of the compressor.
That's cool.
I really, it's a pretty fun compressor to play around with.
That's fun.
But when I showed it around to friends, they didn't really get it. They were like, what do you mean speed? Like, where's this going? So what I did was I kind of drew like this thing where you can see like slow and fast, and it kind of represents it in a visual way.
Nice.
But then after that, what I usually do in terms of developing the plugin is I'll take that GUI and then I'll show it to the developer that I'm working with, which is usually a guy called David, who's a super talented programmer. He's a freelancer, basically. And we'll go through the features and stuff. And something that David, I think, is a genius because of of this thing is instead of me explaining to him what I want, I basically have sort of like a back office of sorts of plugins. So I have like a library of compressors and EQs and a bunch of other things that I can make it sound any way I want on my end. It looks terrible. Like the GUI is very non-user friendly. It kind of looks like a mix of, I don't know, like a bunch of stuff.
Right.
But it's a tool. It's a tool. And I can basically do whatever I want with that. And then I can kind of send it David's way with the GUI, and he takes the two and makes it one.
That's awesome.
That's like a very long answer to your question.